Morning, YouTube. Well, today I am still on Roanoke Island, actually still right at the site of the Lost Colony, but let's fast forward almost 300 years. Lost Colony was 1587 to 1590. In the 1860s, of course, Civil War came to the area, and the Confederates fortified the island. But and this is because part of the Anaconda campaign of the Union to put a stranglehold and blockade the whole Confederate coast. The General Burnside, the man with the famous whiskers, brought his men here amphibious landing and drove the Confederates down to the shore. They had water behind them, and the way one guy described it, water behind them and bayonets in front of them. They didn't want to go for a swim, and they didn't want the Union guys to pick their teeth, so they surrendered. That was in 1862, very early on in the war, probably the first Union victory of the war. But from that point on, the Union controlled the island. Well, word got out to escaped slaves and freedmen, and they flocked here. They just had to come across the river, and get here. In 1862, up to 1,000 people had come here, and so it was set up as the Freedman's Colony, and it encompassed the area. Some of it was the actual historic site of Fort Sullivan, or not Fort Sullivan, Fort Raleigh, but they had blacksmith shops, sawmill, a hospital, schools with African American women teachers, and the Union did bring in some rations. They offered rations, and so without those men here, they couldn't be self-supporting. But at the end of the war, the federal government discontinued the rations and supplies to the colonists and returned the land to the original owners. So reminiscent of early English efforts, Roanoke Island's Freedman's Colony was abandoned in 1867. But many of the freed people remained here, and some of their descendants are now become respected local residents, other settled community throughout the region. So this island played host to a couple of different things, colonies 300 years apart that only lasted a few years each. So anyway, I'm going to get on the road. There's some more of the Outer Banks to explore, and I'll be sharing that in those in upcoming videos. Hope you enjoyed it. See you down the road, YouTube.